So, I was gonna break down the first 2 minutes of the movie, as I promised in my trailer reaction. But then I watched the first 2 minutes, and I felt there wasn't enough to warrant a breakdown, because it would mean, I think, spoiling the movie if you saw those first 2 minutes. I mean, I think the first 2 minutes set up pretty obviously what's happening there, especially with what's said at the beginning of this new trailer. So if you want to go and watch it and connect the dots, go ahead. But if you're somebody who doesn't like spoilers, I don't think there's enough cool stuff besides seeing the opening of the movie, which I think looks very good, to warrant ruining it for yourself. I thought that the voiceover was a little weak, a little CW-y, to be honest with you. But then once the visuals kicked in, it was pretty nice. Also, I like where it obviously is going. I will say that if I were Josh Trank, I'd be mighty upset that everyone's fawning all over this dark New Mutants movie, rightfully so, by the way, but that no one was open to his dark Fantastic Four interpretation. Now, I stand by the fact that the first 2/3 of that movie are quite good. They're not amazing, but they're very strong, and the Doom breakout sequence is phenomenal. And so I feel that never gets its due. And clearly, Josh Boone with New Mutants is going down the same dark path. I guess, people feel fantastic. I guess that's the thing. New Mutants has always been a darker property, more gritty, whereas Fantastic Four is supposed to be, bright and happy and shiny, and people just didn't take too kindly to the change in tone. It's too bad, but I liked it. But anyway, speaking of dark and scary, a number of you pointed out that this new poster, while I saw Stranger Things, many of you who are fans of Nightmare on Elm Street pointed out the similarity to the poster for the third film, Dream Warriors. And that's very appropriate, not only because, these are both scary movies, but of course, Danny Moonstar controls dreams. Basically, she makes them real, just like Freddy Krueger. And they can hurt you, just like Freddy Krueger. I'm trying not to spoil too much of the movie. If you know the characters, you start to be able to put it together pretty quickly. But so anyway, I think it is a very good comparison to draw. And that's great of Josh Boone to do that. All right, let's break this down. All right. So I like this asylum. I talked about this a lot when I broke down and covered the most recent trailer for M. Night Shyamalan's Glass. That was what it was called. The trilogy that he did. And in the last one, a lot of it took place in a mental institution that looked almost exactly like this one, minus this cool dramatic statue in the front. That's how you know it's a comic book movie. Although, of course, M. Night Shyamalan's were comic book movies technically too. But the beauty of this is that you find a nice abandoned building like this. Shawshank Redemption had the same thing. And you shoot all on one location. You keep your actors all nearby. It's extremely cost effective. So if you're writing a movie, it wouldn't kill you to put it in one spot. But if you can find a big building, something that could have a lot of still variation on locations, even better. All right, so that's what you've got here. I love mental institutions. When I was in film school, I wrote a script about mental institutions, and I read the handbook on mental illness, and I read the history of this really infamous Texas insane asylum. They're fascinating places. All right, we don't get enough insane asylum movies. So I like this idea that this is clearly a flashback to the opening of the movie. But let's not say anything else. But they're saying, here, Dr. Cecilia Reyes is saying, you've all killed someone. So that's why you're in prison. Now, look at this. Look at this great, clear, well-lit shot of Magik's arm. That's her limbo armor. Look at it. It's so cool. The visual effects on that is great. One of you made a funny joke in my trailer reaction. They've had so long to refine the visual effects on this thing. And it's true. Anya Taylor-Joy she is Magik. It's some of the best casting I've ever seen. So anyway, it's cool, almost like a Disney princess, Elsa, shimmering, shining thing. It's not limbo hellish in its way it looks. It's got that gorgeous blue energy. I love it. And then, although she doesn't deploy her sword there. She just has it on one arm, her armor. She can do that over her whole body, as I think you see in some points in the trailer. It's pretty freaking neat. Obviously, I don't think this prison could hold her, so she's there for some other reason. And then you interestingly cut to Sam Guthrie, who has the Guthries. There's a whole family of mutants, if you know your X-Men. Very interesting. But he has a cast on one of his arms. That's just a regular old cast. And you can see that he's probably obviously practicing with his powers. And, he's trying to anchor himself to the ground. His powers look great here, by the way. You see another couple of really good shots with them. I do agree with some of you that they might be showing us all the best parts of the movie. And I'll be upset if that's the case. But at least the best parts look very good. So I think this looks really cool. So he's hooking himself in. He's like, I'm going to try again. And so I think that's great. It's nice and dark. I love it. They're not even people. They're just numbers. And look how high the numbers go. I'd be like, whoo, you don't really space these graves out, do you jerks? They're like, no, we just plump you in. See, there's a body bag. And there's Rain. We'll talk about Rain a little bit more. She and Danny, it's been said, are going to have a romantic situation. And I will say that we've gone to from 0 to 60 on lesbian romances in the media. I don't want, there's one coming up I don't want to give away, but there's one coming up on a very popular show right around the corner. And then, of course, Harley Quinn, and now here. So that's great to see that representation. For a long time, it was mostly just gay relationships in Hollywood. And so they seem to be making up for lost time real quick. Oh, may does Rain smell the dead body? Now look, that's not Danny's powers. That is Dr. Cecilia Reyes. She creates force fields, and you're going to see quite a number of them in this trailer itself. So they're obviously being held prisoner by her force fields, which are pretty nice looking. So there's Sunspot. There are better shots of them though in the trailer. So look at that. That's not her force field. You can see in the background there's Dr. Cecilia Reyes, and she throws it up there. You can see her hand moving. She's just as fast as Magik, and she throws up that force field. And Magik can't get through, or maybe that's why Magik can't leave. Although, as you can see, she can teleport in this very trailer, so I don't know why she's stuck in there. That's interesting. It almost looks like the sword is kind of like on her other wrist, too, like the armor. That's a great Ilyana sword. Magik's real name is Ilyana Rasputin. She's related to Colossus. I'd love it if he showed up, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. But that's just fantastic. It's right out of the comics. In some points, this trailer is fantastically comics accurate. It's the kind of stuff that makes you happy to be alive and be a comic book fan. All right. So they're having a little bit of an argument and group session. It happens all the time. Just ask Jack Nicholson. I love that she says, we know. There's a nice group shot. I agree. The BTT viewer Ryan Stewart, very strong advocate, see his comments all the time. And he commented on the fact that, this is supposed to be a diverse group, and it doesn't really look that diverse when you look at it. And you know what I have to say? I know some of you are tired of hearing this, but representation is so important. We're right at the cusp of really making it happen. So when a movie here doesn't really do it, it's a little bit upsetting. Like when they were casting, I'd be like, Roberto DaCosta should definitely look like he's from South America, and Danny Moonstar should definitely look Native American. And when I look at them, I don't automatically think that. Now, obviously, there are people obviously in those demographics that don't look, stereotypically, let's say, like they come from that region. But that's what Hollywood always does. They just dip a toe in the group. They're like, what? It's kind of technically there. And I do believe that actress is Native American and that actor is South American. But still, I would want, the whole point is that the darker skinned actors don't get cast. It's the colorism issue. And so it would be nice if they were cast. I'm just going to say it. I agree with Ryan. All right. There's that statue again. The statue's like, I'm also a character in this movie. Atmosphere. That's my mutant power. Atmosphere. And I'm like, you're so powerful. I love it. Are you an Omega mutant? Okay. If you know your X-Men, you got that joke. All right. So does she run this facility all by herself? I don't think so. You're about to find she has some henchmen. So there you can see she's reading the sonic energy. She's elevated. She's, that's some impressive equipment. This looks like a dump, but is apparently really souped up. So look, she's creating this nightmare scenario. They apparently have free reign of the place. Now this costume looks a lot like the henchman for Hellfire Club. So maybe the Hellfire Club pays for this place, or maybe it's just a nice nod. They don't quite look like this. In the Hellfire Club, they were just normal people in like crazy stormtrooper type outfits. But this guy needs that mask because look, he's got I wish it was electronic and it could do different emotions. But he's got an emoji mask, but he needs it because underneath, oh wow, I don't know how he's like, I can't see anything. Do I look okay? And you're like, don't tell him. I'll just get more upset. You look amazing. Let's go. All right, so yeah, they're not happy. Now look at this. She has a brand on her shoulder. At first, I thought she had a mutant brand, and I was like, somebody put it on upside down. How annoying and embarrassing. But I bet you it's for werewolf. I bet wherever she was, that's how the people in that community could make sure that you couldn't pass for human. Although the mutant tattoo is on your eye, so you can't really hide it. She can just put a shirt on, and no one would be the wiser. So I see a flaw with this system, but whatever. It's cool in the shower sequence. All right. So there's, it's very nice of Dr. Cecilia Reyes to eat lunch with them. So here's Roberto. Now look, there's the demon bear. He's like, I go from chill to not chill with the addition of a demon bear. He looks very scared. Now look at that shot. That's just ridiculous. That was my poster frame for the trailer reaction because it's so freaking beautiful. She's clearly on a wire, but I'll forgive it. But look at the way she comes through. That's how Magik teleports. It's a lot like Blink. Remember Blink? In X-Men Days of Future Past, she also opened portals. Nightcrawler just creates a cool puff of sulfur. If they ever have an X-Men movie with smell-o-vision, you'll know it's sulfur. So anyway, she's coming through, and her portals, Blink just takes you immediately from place to place. But Magik transports into limbo and then transports out into another place. So she's going through a dimension. That's the difference in your teleporters, and as every X-Men fan knows, every good X-Men team needs a teleporter on the group. So she's coming through, and she's in the stairwell, and she's going to take out this mutant guy. You can see they have tattoos on the back of their head. You'll have a better shot of that later. But look, she swings the sword, and as I said, it's clearly wire work, and I'll forgive her. The actions, she's doing the best she can. Her arm looks a little different there. She's got like a gold armor there. Interesting. I like how her eyes light up. Look at this blue light everywhere. I love it. If I ever were going to dye my hair a color, it would be that color blue. They have a Star Wars character actually at Galaxy's Edge, and I think she has an amazing wig. Every time I see her, I'm like, that's a great outfit. Look at that guy's long, creepy fingers. I love it. Cut those off. Your fingers are too long. Look, they smile through this whole thing. So she got the cool swings. That's neat. And I like when she swings and she cuts the wall, and look, the wall stays cut. That's phenomenal. That's great stuff. I love it. All right, so then someone's stuck in the dry or the washing machine, and obviously it's Roberto, Sunspot, and he's like, I'll be out in a second, hold on, but we can't use this anymore. So there you can see on the back they have it's like some kind of tattoos on their fingers and the back of their head. Oh, I wonder, was that what does that to them? Is that what transforms them? Ugh, I wonder who they're eating. That looks bad. All right. So this is a great next shot. So here's Roberto. Is this the shot? No, not yet. All right, so there's Roberto. Don't worry, we're gonna get to a good one. So there's Sam starting to power up. It's not usually a pink energy in the comics, but I like the way it looks. Pink energy is also a big thing in X-Men comics. Gambit, Jean Grey, pink energy. And so it's great to see it on screen. It looks just as good as I'd hoped. So he starts to vibrate so he can also punch with his fists. And Rain is like, what the heck are you doing? But you can see she's still kind of wolf-like. You can see her claws. That's really neat. And also cost-effective. So look, they're trying to get out. Sunspot's trying to get out of the force field. But that is a strong force field. So he's like, I got it. And so Sam, I like his line. He's like, I got to get better at this sometime, trial by fire. So then you see that romantic shot between the two of them. Now look at that. He's powering up, and what I love about it is you see how it goes all around him. That's the force field that creates so that he can ram through stuff. He doesn't need to wear a helmet. He has a personal force field when he's flying. It's a really important part of his power set, and I love the accuracy that the movie has it. So he takes off, and he's so fast that you can't see it. You're welcome, budget department. But he leaves this cool trail of pink energy, which reminds me so much of the Doctor Doom escape sequence. But it looks great. So look at that. So Roberto throws some fire out. And look, for just a second, he looks like he's supposed to look in the comics. So we are going to get where he's mostly, I'm not quite, I think in the comics it's like I'm not sure why he's like a black fire, but it's really neat. It's a very cool visual effect, and I like seeing it in the movie. So he's going to be comics accurate too. So he's fighting this demon bear with fire. Fight fire with fire. So he looks kind of the same, like there too. He looks great. That's how he's supposed to look. So she's like, hey, demon bear. That's great. Now this is awesome. Look at that stance. That's really neat. That looks phenomenal. I love it so much. It looks really good. Is that a bird near her? I wonder whose bird that is. Interesting. Get out of here, bird. There's no place for you. All right, maybe that Danny's manifested something to help her. But Danny's, I don't want to give anything away. All right, so why is there a blue light up in the sky? There's a blue light behind that bear. What's happening here? All right, so anyway, maybe that bird is the blue light too? Maybe it's Ileana's bird from Limbo? I don't know. So she pushes off with her sword. So I like that they kind of thought it through. She still has ridiculous lift and hold. She's not really jumping. They didn't really figure it out. She should have flipped some more. But anyway, I'll allow it because it looks cool. And she cuts into the demon bear. Now this is interesting to me. He's supposed to be the one on fire, so maybe this is a nightmare. That's all I'll say. He's like, do I really look like that? I should change into this cooler other look. And we're like, yes, that's how he gets the idea. These henchmen are crazy. So look, they're like, you can't leave. We're smiling. It's not so bad here. Give us a good Yelp review. So he uses his firepower to push another one of them away. They're obviously not human, so you can kill them and not feel too bad about it. We want this movie to be dark, but not too dark. So look, she's using her claws there to hold in. Her hands look a little bit bigger too. And you can see her teeth as well. Because, she'd like to be on screen. She's like, I'd like some screen time. I don't want to be a dog this whole movie in every action sequence. So the demon bear's like, do you think the demon bear would like her? They're kind of like both animals. So there she is running. Is that a romantic situation? She's a very small wolf dog. In the comics, she's a lot bigger. I'd be like, you think we have to really brand her? She doesn't look that scary. I think, I think the community, I think she's okay. She's like really turns into like a nice dog. All right, so anyway. There she is turning back into a human. That was pretty well done. That was pretty good. I like that. Now what's going on here? She's trying to push Danny into limbo. So Magik's like, I gotta do what's gotta be done. Sorry, Danny. Now look, there's the demon bear in limbo. Oh, he's been cut in the face. Not the face. There's that bird again. So he's like, that's why he's upset. I have a date later, god damn it. So she's like, no, you don't. And it's with me. The date's with me. I hope she seems to have some very good one-liners, like a true action star in the other trailers we've seen. So she's like, you're in my world now. There's like a blue fire coming out of the ground too. That's pretty neat. That would make sense considering her power set. And then the cool logo comes up. The New Mutants. Yeah, it looks like cover of a rock band. And they're like, it is. So that's fantastic. And they're like, worth risking your life for. Put it on streaming. It so looks like a streaming movie. One of you said this, and I agree. On streaming, it would be an event. In theaters, it's probably not going to be an event. Let's see. So again, what do you think of the trailer? What did you think if you're a comic book fan? What did you think if you're not a comic book fan? How does it look to you? It's the last movie in a franchise that's over. So that's another reason maybe not to put it in theaters. But Disney's like, it's a perfect reason to put it in theaters because we don't care about it. All right, what do you think? Share your thoughts down below. Thank you for going over with me. Subscribe today. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.